All right, what's up everybody? So in this video here, we're going to talk about creating the linkages necessary for our motor. So our servo. So our servo comes with what is called servo horns, okay? There are these like white servo horns. There's also some screws inside of here. Probably for this project, you're going to want to use a servo horn that's only one-sided. We have like a one-sided servo horn. We have a four-sided servo horn, and then a two-sided servo horn. Any of these will do the trick, but the one-sided is going to be the cleanest, okay? So that will give us like a rotation action that we can like see as we move this piece around, right? But we don't want to rotate our object. We want our tectonic plates to like slide, either like forwards and backwards or side to side. So that's where the second linkage comes in, which is just another piece of cardboard. That when this first piece rotates and we restrict the second piece of this arm, it causes it to slide in, slide out. Okay, and that is what we are trying to replicate as we like move on. Okay, so we're gonna create that piece in this model. So let's get this guy out of the way. Okay, so we're gonna place our arm maybe a tiny bit towards the movement, or like towards the starting position. We're gonna push that onto our servo. Carefully don't push your servo off your box. Technically, there's a screw that belongs down there. I don't put that on for this project. They stay on fine, and it's easier to like pull it apart later on if you had to. Now, again, this is the piece that's gonna go on top. Okay, that's going to ultimately cover up our servo. We need to be able to pull on a point that's like somewhat down here. Okay, so remember, I've already drawn a dotted line down the center of this piece. I'm going to take my hole punch and I'm going to punch a hole down this line. Where it goes exactly down this line, we want it to be far away from the servo, but like it can be like a good distance in, you know, like I basically did a full cut. That'll be fine. Okay, we're gonna adjust the length of our arm to match this hole here in a little bit. So as far as our arm is concerned, we need an arm. I just have like a scrap piece of the cardboard. You'll have like some scrap pieces as well. We need an arm that is, you know, roughly this length. It's actually going to be shorter than this, but that's close enough. Just going to like cut that there. And then using the same techniques we learned earlier in this process, we're going to line this edge up with like one of the white lines. And for this piece, we're going to make these about a ½ inch thick. So I'm going to line up one extra white line away with my ruler, 2 quick clean passes, maybe 3 with the knife, especially once you start getting like a little bit dull. You might need a couple extras, right? But better to like make multiple passes than to like push really hard. Okay, so there's that piece. Completely unnecessary, but I just like to make the one end like a little bit round. So boom, I do that. Right, and then we're going to find the approximate center, which is about here. Okay, so this is where my servo is going to attach. Now we're going to use this tiny screw to do that. So we're going to use our knife to like drill / cut a hole into this piece, right? We're going to take the point of the knife and we're going to push it into that center mark. We're gonna like spin it around. Might even pick this up once it starts going through, right? I'm spinning it, just helping to cut like through. Okay, it's not the cleanest cut ever, but it's gonna work just fine for what we want. Okay, we wanna cut a small hole because we want the screw itself to be able to go like through this hole, but we don't want screw head to be able to go through the hole. Okay, so I'm just gonna check a few times. There, that fits through nicely. Okay, so that's our first bit. So again, we're gonna we need a screwdriver, which you're gonna have on your desk. We're gonna take our arm. We're going to attach the screw to the furthest hole on the arm. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that in there. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Okay, so we're turning in a clockwise rotation as we go down. We want to basically screw this down until the screw stops moving, okay? And then we're gonna back it off like half to a full turn, all right? We want this piece of cardboard board to rotate freely. We don't want it to have like tons and tons of play down here, you know? Like we want nice movement. Now again, this other length, we haven't done anything with it yet. It's a little bit longer than we need. That's where this hole comes into play, okay? So we are going to put our bits in, our straw in. We're going to close this up to the point where it is above our center line. And then we're going to take this arm. We're going to basically center that arm above this hole. We're going to use like a pencil or something to give it a quick mark. And that's the approximate location. Now you can actually see, I thought that I was in the center here. I'm not, so I'm gonna tweak it a little bit. I'm gonna move this over, but that is still where I want it more or less. So there is my hole versus my piece. I'm gonna take my scissors. I'm gonna chop this cardboard short. Again, I still want to leave a decent chunk of cardboard at the end so it's strong. And now we are ready to put this together. Okay, so there. My two holes line up pretty good. Okay. We're going to take a brass paper fastener. They're going to go down through both of these holes. You got to kind of be careful as you're doing this because we need to like access underneath, but we don't want to pull our straws off or anything else. So just be gentle as you're like trying to open the legs up on your fastener. Boom. Okay, so that is now attached. We move on to programming it. We should now be able to start seeing this thing like slide back, slide forward. So we now have like the basic functionality. And again, our linear bearings keep this thing in like a plane that we want them to be in. Okay, and then our linkages allow our piece to travel horizontally, okay, or in like a fixed plane. We want to be able to control how they move. All right, in the next video, we're very quickly going to like wrap this thing up, and this one will be all set.